Hey everybody, it's Bob from TNT Customs, TNT Tuesday. And as you can see, Sparticus is in the background. Before we get to that, in addition to that, we're headed to Missouri Overland Off-Road Expo. I think I got it right that time. M-O-O-R-E. Mary and I are leaving sometime before midnight tomorrow. And driving down on Thursday, setting up on Friday, so come see us Saturday and Sunday. So we'll be down, it's, I don't remember the name of the fairgrounds, but it's in Springfield, Missouri, so if you're in that neighborhood, come see us. The other thing, while we're there, we'll do another live, still waiting on time that we're gonna do that. Probably on Saturday, I suppose. We'll introduce some of our partners that helped us with this build. I guess we can talk about that. We'll pick up for exploring at the end. And since we're up front, obviously we use worn winches. This particular unit, we chose the VR10 for now. Fairly lightweight, decent pull, synthetic line. Also Factor 55, we always use their stuff. They're fairly...
They won't hear you unless you speak up.
They're, I don't remember what they call it. You can look it up. It's on factor55.com. Next up, we're running off-road only Swaylock. The other side has the disconnector.
It's all right.
So we use the Swaylock on a lot of our stuff. I like a front sway bar off-road. I don't like to be completely disconnected, and the Jeep tends to flop around like a fish out of water. So the off-road, the Swaylock is kind of the best of both worlds. You get a little more rate on the highway, and you still have a sway bar when you disconnect it. And it's really easy to disconnect. You just flip the... Now it's disconnected, go off-road, end of the day, flip it back over, it locks back in, and away you go. Really simple. Next up, I guess, working front to rear is wheels and tires. We kind of built this Jeep around 35-inch tires. It is Mary's daily driver when she finally gets it back here in a week or so.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
So we didn't want it. I mean, it's an overland rig. I mean, that's what we built it for. It's not a crawler. We have crawlers. We have hardcore trail rigs, the yellow JK. Someday the TJ will be done. So we needed this to be more highway friendly and, you know, out in the middle of nowhere friendly. So we chose the Toyo Open Country AT3s. It's a fairly new tire on the market. And the main reason I chose it, it is a 35 1150. We were trying, since it is Mary's daily, we didn't want everything sticking out here throwing mud and slop and snow and ice and all of that. So we chose the Toyos. We've been running Toyos, but this particular tire, it is has a very high snow and ice rating, which we live in Wyoming. We have snow and ice, so wanted something on it so Mary could drive it easily. Tires are wrapped around the Bavarian beadlock wheels. There again, I chose those wheels because of their offset, just enough to allow full steering, but not so much that it stuck everything outside the flare. And Mary was already showing you, we use Baja Design lights. This is, I can't remember the model number. And it says, the XL Pro. So incredibly bright light. wrench on there. They're mounted to the Mopar bracket. I chose the Mopar ones because they have a little better bolt pattern than some of the others out there. They're a lot sturdier and bigger. I needed some place to put the antenna. I didn't want the antenna out here on the hood on a traditional UHF, VHF radio mount or antenna mount. I have them on the Megalander and the JK, and when I get in the trees, all they do is bang. So put it behind the light so it's protected. I guess next up, you've already seen our sliders. These are Expedition sliders. They're dirty. They have footprints all over them because I've been using them to work on the roof. And they're perfect for that. Just get right up there. So while we're up here, I guess we'll go top down now. We're using it's fairly new on the market as well, the Rhino rack backbone system and tray. We installed the backbone. You can see the pylons. There's one here and one back here, and a full internal structure to carry load down to the top of the bed or the cab. So it's rated 220 pounds, I think. I was standing up there the other day. I'm more than 220 pounds. Next up, we're using the all our Overland accessories are 23-0. This is their shower stall. We'll talk more about that down in Springfield. I'll have it open. It's basically a dual pivoting arm. So the shower stall is here, changing room, toilet room, whatever you want to call it. It's all self-contained. Folds up real easy, roll it up, zip the cover, and there you go. So that's pretty straightforward. We used another Rhino rack Pioneer tray. It is a generic tray. And then I just moved the crossbars around to hit the existing bolt holes in the RLD Designs canopy, and we were able to bolt it right on. So now we have a nice big flat platform. We can carry our tent, we can carry, if the tent's off, we can put, it's just the possibilities are endless. Skis, bikes, you name it. Rhino Rack's got a whole line of accessories that drop right into that tray. So it really gives a lot of versatility. Obviously 23-0 tent, it's their 62 Breezeway. That model, we'll have that open down there in Springfield so we can show you that. One of the kind of neat features we did to marry the tent and the Rhino Rack tray are these are prototypes from Carolina Metal Masters. Brian and I have been working on these. I used to make some out of just fabricated steel, and they're real little pieces are really hard to jig and weld, so I kind of asked Brian if he'd put his hat on and see if he could make one out of aluminum on his mill, and that's what he came up with. So now we have a quick disconnect. You pull 4 of these pins and the tent pulls up out of there. We're going to rig up like a hardtop rope and pulley system. You know, some of you guys use them to pull your hardtops on and off your Jeep in the summertime. Similar thought process, but Mary and I can back this in the garage, pull 4 pins, strap all the straps or ropes or whatever I come up with, and winch it up, hang it up on the ceiling, and she's got her truck stripped back down for daily use. And in a matter of minutes, we can have the tent on and throw stuff in the cooler and head out to the woods. So those, watch for them from Carolina Metal Masters. It's a pretty cool piece. So moving down, obviously we're using Max Tracks. I've tried some of the other brands and they do not stand up. There's no substitute for the original. So we put Max Tracks on the RLD. I used a Rhino Rack mount. Had to do a little modifications to make it work with the RLD door, but you know, I had some traffic on Instagram the other day asking, well, now your doors don't open. Yeah, they do. So the door still opens. It's an easy bolt-on modification to your top. Takes a little measuring, a little thought, but the latches are still all usable. Didn't really affect the operation of the door. We'll see how their struts hold up over time with the added weight. I may have to put a little heavier strut on it, but that's easy change. Next up, we've been talking about these. There they are. I don't know, what are we calling them, Mary?
Bed
Bed step, corner step.
slider.
Maybe we'll have a contest. We'll talk about that in Missouri.
Yeah.
See if somebody can come up with
I don't know what they should be called because
Right, but they're just like the Expedition Series sliders. You now have a place to get a tow, so you can get up on here and work your tent or whatever else you have up on that's mounted high.
show the bottom of the bumper. Okay.
Oh,
Mean
yeah.
down here?
Now come over here, Mary. It's easier to get a better view from this corner.
Okay. Then the light's in the way.
No, it's all right. So this is a Sport, so it has the factory rubber bumpers. These were designed and prototyped on the factory steel bumper group, and it's actually a stiffening member for the factory steel bumper. We were able to mount them
Sorry.
on the Sport. All the threaded inserts and all the holes are in the frame to bolt everything on, so that's standard across the board. And then all we had to do is do a little trim work in this corner of the bumper to make the tube tuck in. There's a bolt up in here, the internal framework. It's in the same place as the steel bumper group. So little trim work on the rubber bumper and they go right on. And they really look like they were supposed to be there. You can see poking out the back another Factor 55. That's their, put it in your receiver hitch and you can put a D-ring on it. So now Mary's got good toe points front and rear. Secure toe points instead of the open hook. What else we got?
And Sparticus has a nice looking butt.
Yep. Obviously the RLD design shell or canopy. It's a simple operation. Opens up. You have good, secure, and mostly dust free. Most of that dirt was in there. I haven't cleaned it yet. That's my next day and a half project is to start cleaning it.
It's got, what's that hole up there for?
Excuse me. That is their dust vent. Stay there. Because I wanted such a short profile, the Rhino rack tray is bolted directly to the shell. There's no spacers. But what this is for is this opens. I can get my hand in there. So it opens up like a roof vent. And the point is for positive airflow. Because I have the tray mounted so low, it can't get over center, so the springs hold it open. So I have to fix that. But when you're going down the road with that open, it's like a hood scoop, right? So it grabs air and puts it into here and positive pressurizes this compartment, and the theory is to keep dust out. A lot of the Australians and South Africans, all of that overlanding scene that's been going on for decades, they all have something similar. This is a South African produced top, so they incorporated that into it, and it works well. I've been around some camp trailers that have had it, and I mean, and a trailer especially, because it's right behind the vehicle, it's just getting covered in that dust that comes off the truck, and you can open the doors and everything inside's nice and clean. So I need to make a little tweak to that because I don't have the clearance because of the tray, but you start mixing and matching things, and you have to start modifying stuff.
So that's a shower on the other side. What's that?
So this is, and I was going to look it up so I got the name right, and then I didn't. But this is 23Zero's. They debuted it in Overland Expo in 2019. I think he calls it a 270-degree awning. So it's a dual pivot awning. You got pivots on this end, you got pivots on this end. So these arms come around this way to about here, and the awning will come out, and then it's square here, parallel to the vehicle. Then it angles back off to a point, and then back to that side. So
Dang, good thing we got a big booth at Moore.
we are completely covered in inclement weather. It is a freestanding awning, wind notwithstanding. It doesn't take poles and all this stuff to hold it up. They're big, heavy pivots and arms.
Oh,
They just
cool.
open
No
up.
poles?
It has self-contained poles, so when you open the arms up, there's a leg that will drop down if you need it in a high wind scenario, and then you can guide it down from
Nice.
there. But on a nice calm day, just open it up and you're done.
So nobody's seen the suspension on this. What did you do there?
All right, so last but not least, our TNT parts. So we have a full suspension system for this. Fully adjustable front, upper and lower, rear, upper and lower control arms. And you can kind of see one poking out. The lowers right here. Our big robust parts that we use and everything, we just grabbed a bunch of pieces off the shelf and started whittling and measuring until we got JT rear. This is JT specific, the rear is, and then the front is JL or JT. So we're flex jointed at the chassis, rubber mounted at the axle for noise isolation. The sharp eye will see that the factory Jeep Fox shocks are still on it, because as everybody knows, everybody's behind. So I could not get shocks in time for this debut and show. So we came up with a shock adapter. So the rears are kind of special. They kick the shock up and forward. They take some of the angle out of the factory mounting, which effectively stiffens the valving. In my opinion, the JT, the rear shocks are too soft valved. That really made a nice change. You probably can't see it, but we also have bump stop, bolt-on bump stop extensions. Those are done now. So here shortly we'll put this all together and we will have a full kit. 3-inch advertised at a 2.5, 3-inch lift. Perfect for 35s. These are the max toe flares. We did a build in the shop where that fella bought the max toe, but he wanted the paintable Rubicon flare because he didn't want it real tall, but he wanted 37s. So I snagged these before they went in the dumpster.
Oh, they were narrower
Yeah, they were the factory ones are a little narrower
on the Sport.
on the Sport. So we put the max toe flare on it so we kept tire coverage. And it really is a nice combination with this Bavarian wheel and the Toyo tire. Everything's covered up nice. It doesn't throw a lot of trash. But this same kit on a Rubicon, 37s all day long. There's probably, if you bump stopped it appropriately, could push that to, say, the 38 Milestar or the 39.5 BF Goodrich. I'm fairly certain you could pull that off. You'd have to check bump stop spacing.
Lastly, how'd you come up with this graphics, Bob?
So the graphics are a miniaturization of what's on our toter and stacker trailer. Our graphics guys just He laid them all out on the JT
How
template.
about that?
Oh, our squatch? Yeah, gotta
Yep.
have a squatch.
Yep, got a few hidden things in here.
Yeah, as Jeep put, they call them Easter eggs, so I'm told. There's
So
flip-flops and whatnot, so we've
how about that?
got
Gotta
an elk.
have that when you're from Wyoming.
Yep, and a nice muley.
And how about that one sneaking in there? So a couple few.
Right.
Should have hid your face in there too.
Yeah, no. So,
And I didn't go up on top of the hood
right.
to show them the last graphics up there.
Kind of hard to see with the overhead lights, get a lot of reflection, but there is a topographic map hidden in there.
Kind of go a little closer.
Kind of goes with the For Exploring theme. So, and that's our For Exploring logo there.
So we put it all in there. Oh,
So
did we miss
that's
anything?
Sparticus in a nutshell. Yeah, there's some little fine details.
Oh, how about inside? There were some things you did inside.
Yeah, come to this side.
Don't mind that it's dirty. Bob's had it for a week
It's
or
filthy.
two.
So what we did in here, first of all, we did the, Brian sent us a set of Carolina Metal Masters, his
Ram mounts.
So you can hook, what did they do with it? I don't know. Well, one of these deals. So you could take, if you didn't like your phone up here, let me get it apart. There it comes. You know, that will go there. It will go here. It will go there. So you have three balls, basically, one on each grab handle. And then there's one here in the dash. You could put, I've seen some guys put the fourth one on the other end of the grab handle. Brian also makes a mount that goes down here. Bolts all into factory stuff, is completely adjustable by rotation, so that will also change height. There's several accessories that you can hang there. Don't have them installed yet. Up here on the dash we use ram mounts. I've been using ram mounts for quite a while. So they released this replacement piece for the top of the dash, so you have this big T-slot, so all of these accessories can be slid left to right.
What is that thing?
In the center we have a B-Tech tri-band radio, so we can monitor UHF, VHF, GRMS. Can't do CB, but CB's old school, nobody's using it anymore, and if you still are, you should upgrade to UHF, VHF. But this tri-band allows me to run all my UHF or VHF race radio channels, plus I can also monitor the GMRS, which is becoming popular. Midland's putting out a whole bunch of handhelds in that frequency. So I can monitor all of that. And
What's
then
that
last
thing over
over
there?
here is the Switch Pros control panel. So I have 8 touch switches controlling 8 different circuits. Eventually this Jeep will get A or B lockers when we re-gear it. So Mary's right here at her fingertips, front locker, rear locker, air compressor, the inverter, because this is not a very well equipped Jeep, so it doesn't have an inverter.
Can't believe it doesn't have an inverter.
So of course Bob does everything bigger and better. I think the factory is like 100 watt or something. It's pretty much useless. So this afternoon, if I get that far, which I have to because Mary's got to work while I'm driving, she's got to plug in her computer, so she'll have 400 watt inverter at her fingertips.
I'm gonna blow up my laptop.
Nope. We got our 8 pillar lights wired here. We'll have rock lights when I get them installed, grill mounted lights, and then this is our dust light. That's also a project I'm working on. We'll unveil that down
Are those
at-
all little stickers over the light spots,
Yeah,
or what
so
are those?
it's a blank panel, and then he sends you, I don't know, 100 and some choices of what you're going to do. So it's just a little peel and stick sticker that you put over the switch, and then this cover deal is optional.
Oh,
So you put that over top. One, I think, to hold the stickers in place if they ever came loose, so they can't peel the edge. And two, now you have a tactile feel. Your finger naturally drops in the hole that you're trying to push.
like it.
Yeah, very simple, very clean install under the hood.
Maybe even I can work it.
Yeah, it's really easy. So that's pretty
think-
much it. I don't know if with the lights on in here, you probably can't see the inside of the backbone. They're tucked way back there in the corners
Oh,
behind the
I
roll
can-
bar.
I can go out and look. Let's see what you're saying. Sorry, guys. We'll go here.
So the Rhino rack backbone, hopefully you can see that. It all tucks, it's a two-piece deal that interlocks so you can easy install. You don't have to take the top off to install it. And it just locks in to the hardtop bolts. That's how so it's more or less a permanent install. You can still take the top on and off.
I feel it. It's hard to
and
see because it's black.
Yeah, it's so dark in there.
Yeah.
So we'll get some better light on it down there in Missouri, and just a lot of people are asking about that. And then there's another bracket. It's even harder to see that goes up in this area that ties the front pylon to the cage. That's how they get the weight rating. You're not really bolted just on the top. It carries through the top down to sheet metal. So it's a pretty slick system. We've been running them in JKs and JLs for years, and we're happy that we were able to partner.
Man, this thing's getting clean today.
TNT.
It's dirty. All right, anything else? What else?
That's pretty much it for Sparticus now. I mean, there's more stuff coming. I'm not going to talk about that. You'll find that out when we get there.
So when we get to the show, we'll do a video on Saturday.
Right. Opening this and setting it up, it's really easy. to
Show
set up.
everybody everything Saturday.
So closing out for exploring, I have a few spaces left on most trips. So if people want to go, probably the first one on the schedule I need to hear from you is Spring Adventure. That is my birthday, May 15th is Saturday, so that makes Monday the 17th through the 22nd, if I did that right, that week in May. This year we're going back to Hole in the Rock
Oh, I love
Trail.
that trail. That's a gorgeous
in
trail.
southern Utah, and then I have a couple other surprises in store to fill out the rest of the week. But the Hole in the Rock Trail is 3 days on the trail. In halfway, we'll say, set up base camp. Next day we go to the end, come back, base camp again, and the third day we'll come back out
Wayne says he's in for Spring Adventure.
to pavement. Next up would be, running the calendar through my head, is Rockin' Woods, right? That is don't quote me, 29th of June to 2nd July that week. Have a
No.
few spaces left on that one. That is a bigger event for us. I can take up to 20 Jeeps, so don't be shy.
Oh, Rockenwood.
That is a base camp event, so we stay put and we do day trips in and out of camp.
Of course, right before that is the 605.
Yeah, and right.
So
we'll
we'll
do all the
we
four
stay.
exploring ones and
Yep,
pick up
okay.
all the non-TNT events that we're going to.
So that's June.
So that's June, July. Next up is Northwoods Adventure. So that is based out of Copper Harbor, Michigan. For those of you that don't know where that is, if you look at the map of the Upper Peninsula, it's that thing that pokes way out in Lake Superior, and it's at the very end. That's where we will start from. we'll work our way down into northern Wisconsin and loop around into Minnesota. If you've never seen Northwoods fall colors, that is your trip.
When are you doing that?
September.
Okay.
Um,
Oh yeah, David's got it on there, September 20th through 24th.
Thanks, David.
He's on the ball.
So typically that's prime color season up there. Mother Nature can screw that up one way or the other, so we'll hope for the best. And then rounding out the for exploring schedule is Fall Adventure. That is mid-October. This year we're going back into the swell, west of Green River. So I have spaces on all trips. Email is info@forexploring.com. Don't expect me to answer the minute my inbox dings, but send me an email, I'll get back to you in a day or two. So then other non-TNT events that we're going to, we're working with the club in Grand Junction for Rock Junction, 3rd through the 5th, 4th through the 6th.
First weekend in
June. And then
Sean's
wheeling-
got question mark Morrison.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I forgot about Morrison. That is
Good job, Sean.
mid-August, 11 to 15.
So June, July is South Dakota. August is Morrison.
Then
September is Northwoods.
October is Fall Adventure.
Okay.
So, and I have spaces on Morrison as well. So,
August 11th through 15th, according to David.
yep.
David, you're making a great secretary today.
So Rockin' Woods is that first weekend in June. Wheeling Thursday, Friday, vending Saturday, potentially wheeling Sunday. Next up is Rockin' Woods, like a week and a half later. That's the last weekend of June. Back up, we wheel Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, barbecue Saturday night, everybody goes home. Or they stay for Rockin' Woods, because they're back to back. Typically the first week of August is all for fun. Who knows what the sheep have in store for us, whether it'll go or not. Right now, I don't,
First week of August? Yeah.
yeah, usually tail end, the last couple days of July, first couple days of August, whatever that is that week.
We got,
I don't know about
That's
any
it.
other extracurricular. Oh, if it goes, it was Overland Expo has postponed all of their spring events and rescheduled to fall, but I do believe the Overland Expo Rocky Mountain West. It's a
so
mouthful.
out of Denver.
Yeah, the ranch down in Longmont.
Yep.
That is the tail end of August.
Oh yeah.
So there will be a co-sponsored Rhino Rack for Exploring TNT event to the expo. We're still working out details on that one. We're planning for it. We're going to see what happens. Other than that, Trail Heroes first weekend in October.
And then we have some of our train masters are trying to put
Yep.
stuff together.
So as
We'll
soon as we
keep
get their
that
schedules,
posted.
we'll get those out.
As we learn about that, we'll do that.
So
Okay.
I guess that kind of wraps up for today.
Yep.
We'll see you guys in Missouri this weekend. And
Yeah.
then,
We are giving away Rotopax mount at
yes,
Moore.
please stop by the booth. Got a little thing to fill out. Put your name in a hat, so to speak. We have
Hey, Frenchie.
one of our tire-mounted Rotopax mounts that is being raffled or auctioned or given away, however you want to say that.
Okay. And with that,
Yeah. We'll see you guys.
Sasquatch says, have a good lunch. See ya.